Hamas, a Palestinian militant group, has been involved in numerous terrorist attacks on Israel, prompting the United States to intensify its efforts to cut off its funding. However, through charitable organizations, taxation systems, and support from Iran, Hamas leaders have built a substantial wealth base to sustain their activities. In this video, I am going to show you how Hamas's leaders spend their over $2 billion fortune. How they spend their money. To understand how Hamas leaders acquired their immense wealth, we must first delve into the origins of the organization and their initial financial support. The vast majority of Hamas founders and leaders were refugees or second-generation refugees, born and raised in the challenging conditions of refugee camps. They had no money at all, but as Hamas and its ideology began to take shape, they found support from an unexpected source. It was the Israeli military government that nurtured the Islamic associations working in the Gaza Strip, including Hamas, as a counterweight to the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO. This support provided a foundation for Hamas to grow and establish itself. As Hamas and its leaders distanced themselves from Israel, they began to search for alternative financing sources. Money started flowing in from charity funds and donations from various countries. These donations included a significant contribution called zakat, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The financial support initially came from countries like Syria and Saudi Arabia, with Iran later becoming one of Hamas's biggest supporters. And today, Qatar has taken Iran's place as a major contributor to Hamas's wealth. Alongside these donations, Hamas leaders began fundraising campaigns in the United States. Dr. Musa Abu Marzouk, the number 2 man in Hamas, spearheaded a campaign among wealthy Muslims in the early 1990s. He also founded several banking enterprises, turning himself into a conglomerate of 10 financial enterprises involved in loans and financial investments. His financial prowess was truly remarkable. Marzouk, born in the late 1950s, rose through the ranks of Hamas to become one of its key figures. With a net worth exceeding $3 billion, he has spared no expense when it comes to indulging in the finer things in life. Abu Marzouk's rise to power within Hamas was marked by his ability to navigate the complex political landscape of the region. He was known for his charisma and persuasive skills, which helped him gain the trust and support of his fellow Hamas members. His strategic thinking and organizational abilities also played a crucial role in his ascent to leadership. One of Abu Marzouk's defining moments came in 1992 when he was elected as the deputy head of the Hamas Political Bureau, the highest decision-making body within the organization. This position solidified his status as one of the most influential figures within Hamas and set the stage for his future accumulation of wealth. However, Marzouk's activities did not go unnoticed by the US administration. In 1995, he was arrested on charges of supporting terrorism. After spending 2 years in a US prison, he was expelled without trial, but not before amassing several $1 million. Speculations arose that he may have cooperated with the administration, allowing him to escape punishment for such serious offenses. As Hamas gained prominence and support, particularly in the wake of the Oslo Accords in the mid-1990s, Abu Marzouk's influence continued to grow. He became known for his shrewd financial dealings, using his position within Hamas to amass a vast fortune. It is believed that he engaged in various illicit activities, including money laundering, arms smuggling, and extortion, to fund Hamas's operations and line his own pockets. Abu Marzouk's wealth grew exponentially in the early 2000s when he established a network of businesses and investments, both within and outside of the Gaza Strip. He used his connections and influence to secure lucrative deals and partnerships, often exploiting the dire economic conditions in Gaza to his advantage. Today, Marzouk is considered one of Hamas's wealthiest billionaires, with Arab sources estimating his wealth at $3 billion. In the investigation of the September 11th events, it was revealed that he had extensive financial connections with Al-Qaeda, including the transfer of funds to the operatives accused of the attacks. The origins and initial financial support of Hamas provide a glimpse into the complex web of connections and funding sources that allowed its leaders to accumulate immense wealth. But this is just the beginning of our shocking journey into the depths of their riches. As we continue our exploration into the wealth of Hamas leaders, we come across astonishing figures who have amassed fortunes in Gaza. Let's take a closer look at 2 other prominent Hamas leaders, Khaled Mashal and Ismail Haniyeh. Khaled Mashal, the political leader of Hamas, is believed to be worth a staggering $2.6 billion. However, some sources, based on their extensive networks, suggest that his wealth could be even higher, ranging from $2 to $5 billion. Mashal has made strategic investments in Egyptian and Persian Gulf banks, as well as real estate projects in the Persian Gulf countries. The exact details of Mashal's financial dealings remain secretive, with investments made through front companies involving family and associates. His control over a massive $2.6 billion deposited in Qatari and Egyptian banks has solidified his status as one of Hamas's wealthiest leaders. Ismail Haniyeh, the former Hamas prime minister in Gaza, has also seen a significant rise in his wealth. Through his newfound senior status within the organization, Haniyeh has become a millionaire. He purchased several homes in the Gaza Strip, registering them in the names of his children. Ismail Haniyeh, a 61-year-old father of 13 children, has been in hiding since 2019. But hiding doesn't mean living in hardship for Haniyeh. Instead, he enjoys a life of luxury in lavish hotels in Qatar and Turkey. He frequently jets between Tehran, Istanbul, Moscow and Cairo in his private jet, meeting with leaders in friendly nations. Haniyeh's sons, Mars and Abdel Salam, are often seen in Instagram posts, lounging on hotel beds in Istanbul or Doha. Mars, known as the father of houses in the Gaza Strip, is a wealthy real estate mogul in his own right. Despite his Islamic faith, Mars is often seen in the company of attractive women and alcohol when he's in Turkey. Qatar has become a haven for Hamas leaders, including Haniyeh. They own luxurious properties and enjoy a life of extravagance in this wealthy Gulf nation. These properties serve as their escape from the dire conditions in Gaza, a stark contrast to the suffering of the Palestinian people they claim to represent. While Haniyeh once vowed to live only on olive oil and za'atar spice, his actions speak louder than his words. He revels in the lap of luxury, jetting across the globe, meeting with leaders, and enjoying the finest accommodations money can buy. In a shocking turn of events, Haniyeh's eldest son was even arrested on the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing with millions of dollars in cash. This incident sheds light on the extent of wealth accumulated by Hamas leaders, even within their own families. It is important to note that some Hamas leaders have also profited from the flourishing tunnel industry. They imposed a 20% tax on all trade passing through the tunnels, further adding to their wealth. The overthrow of former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak and the growing popularity of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt contributed to Hamas's financial gains. Some Hamas members invested in various Egyptian assets, often through business partnerships with influential Muslim Brotherhood officials. Additionally, the subsidized fuel provided by the Egyptian government was sold in Gaza at exorbitant prices, with some Hamas members making significant profits. These immense fortunes amassed by some Hamas leaders stand in stark contrast to the dire conditions faced by the Palestinian people. The Gaza Strip ranks third in the Arab region in terms of poverty, with a poverty rate of 38%. The wealth disparity between the leaders and their constituents is a glaring example of the corrupt system that allowed them to treat money as their own personal possession. As we dig deeper into the corrupt system that allowed Hamas leaders to accumulate immense wealth, we come across another wealthy Hamas official, Imam Taha. Taha, despite not being on the organization's highest levels, has managed to feed from the trough of corruption. Taha, who was once a poor, rebellious kid from the Al-Borg refugee camp, has recently built a home in central Gaza worth at least $1 million. His rise to wealth is attributed to his responsibility for coordinating between overseas Hamas and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. It is important to note that Taha is not alone in his accumulation of wealth. According to Colonel Dr. Moshe Elad, there are several other junior managers and officials within Hamas who have also benefited from the corrupt system. The question remains, how did these officials acquire their wealth? The answer lies in the control of money pipelines in the Gaza Strip, a system that treats the money as their possession. Most of the money that flowed into the pockets of people in the Gaza Strip was obtained through tunnel deals and the creation of a flourishing smuggling market. This system is believed to have created several hundred millionaires in the Gaza Strip, while the majority of the population continues to live in poverty. The man pulling the strings from Egypt with the tunnels is none other than Khairat el-Shatta, the number 2 man in the Muslim Brotherhood. While their connection with Hamas was ostensibly for Islamic religious purposes, they built a prosperous business that earned phenomenal profits. Senior Hamas leaders imposed a 25% tax and a $2,000 fee on every disassembled vehicle passing through the tunnels. These tunnels connecting Egypt to Gaza became a lucrative source of income. From June 2007 until 2010, an astonishing $800 million in cash was transferred through tunnel deals, according to information from Hamas money traders. Additionally, Hamas leaders levied taxes on all traded goods, ranging from boxes of vegetables to luxury cars. The leaders would then scoop the money into their own pockets, further widening the wealth gap between themselves and the Palestinian people. Another method employed by Hamas leaders to accumulate wealth was the takeover of land. They targeted prime areas such as the former Gush Katif and sold the land for personal gain. By exploiting their positions, they were able to seize and loot valuable land. Furthermore, a system of fictitious recruitment was established in the Gaza Strip. Workers were recruited in name only, with the sole purpose of obtaining pay slips from overseas sources. resources. Payments intended for these fictitious workers were instead pocketed by Hamas leaders and officials. The corrupt practices of some Hamas leaders have created a stark divide between the wealthy few and the impoverished many in the Gaza Strip. While the leaders enjoy lavish lifestyles, the Palestinian people continue to suffer. The extent of their wealth and the methods by which they acquired it are shocking revelations that shed light on the true nature of Hamas's leadership. The wealth accumulated by some Hamas leaders has had a profound impact on the Palestinian population, creating a stark contrast between the few who have become millionaires and the many who continue to struggle in poverty. Let's explore the extent of this wealth and its consequences. According to Professor Ahmed Karima of Al-Azhar University, Hamas can count no less than 1,200 millionaires among its members. This staggering number reveals the vast disparity between the leaders and the people they claim to represent. While some Hamas leaders enjoy luxurious lifestyles, the Gaza Strip, where they hold power, ranks third in the Arab region in terms of poverty, with a poverty rate of 38%. The immense wealth accumulated by Hamas leaders stands as a painful reminder of the corrupt system that allows them to treat the money as their own personal possession, while the majority of the population struggles to make ends meet. The impact of this wealth disparity is felt in every aspect of life in the Gaza Strip. Basic necessities such as food, healthcare and education become even more inaccessible for the Palestinian people, as the resources that should be allocated to their welfare are diverted elsewhere. The stark contrast between the opulent lifestyles of Hamas leaders and the dire conditions faced by the Palestinian people raises questions about the true intentions and priorities of those in power. As the wealth of Hamas leaders continues to grow, the suffering of the Palestinian people persists. The corrupt system that allows this wealth accumulation to occur must be addressed to ensure a more equitable distribution of resources and a better future for all. How did Hamas acquire its wealth? In the early years following Israel's withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, Hamas faced numerous difficulties, including frequent payroll delays and limited financial resources. However, instead of being crippled by these challenges, the organization found ways to overcome them and establish a solid financial foundation. Despite facing sanctions and a siege, Hamas managed to evolve into a well-funded conglomerate. Through a combination of strategic governance and financial maneuvering, the group tightened its grip over Gaza and accumulated significant wealth. This section will explore the factors that contributed to Hamas's financial growth, including the sources of income that allowed the organization to expand its operations. We will delve into the role of the Palestinian Authority, PA, and international donors in indirectly contributing to Hamas's coffers. Despite the responsibility for Gaza's residents falling on others, the PA and international agencies tolerated the situation, providing financial support that empowered Hamas and allowed it to prioritize the interests of its loyalists. Furthermore, Hamas keeps its budgetary details hidden, and the Israel Defense Forces release limited information. However, through Palestinian news reports and interviews with informed sources, we can approximate the financial landscape of Gaza and gain insights into Hamas's financial growth. One significant source of income for Hamas comes through transfers into Gaza via the Palestinian banking system. Since Hamas's military takeover in June 2007, an average of $2 billion per year has been transferred into Gaza through the Palestinian banking system. The Palestinian Authority, PA, alone wires an estimated $1.2 billion per year into Gaza banks, a substantial portion of which goes towards pensions and salaries for employees who are not actively working. Other international organizations such as the UN Relief and Works Agency, non-governmental organizations and foreign government aid organizations also transfer cash into Gaza. Additionally, the tunnel trade with Egypt has played a significant role in Hamas's financial operations. While much attention has been given to the goods smuggled into Gaza, such as fuel and cement, cash has also been steadily exported out of Gaza through the tunnels. It is estimated that approximately $750 million per year is exported out of Gaza in cash through the tunnels, with some of it flowing to safe havens in Persian Gulf countries and Europe. This underground trade has provided Hamas with an additional source of income. Taxes and fees imposed by Hamas on various goods and services have also contributed to its financial growth. The group has implemented new fees and taxes, such as charging 3 Israeli new shekels on every pack of cigarettes and imposing a 1,400 new Israeli shekels auto-registration fee. Hamas also regulates businesses and collects taxes on luxury goods coming from Israel, motorcycles and carts. Furthermore, Hamas takes a significant cut from the Egyptian tunnel trade, imposing high customs duties and daily fees on local tunnel contractors. While Hamas officials refuse to disclose specific details about their budget or sources of income, it is believed that the group also receives substantial foreign aid and gifts. Iranian subsidies to Hamas, primarily primarily directed towards the Hamas political bureau in Damascus for weapons purchases and shipments, are estimated to be around $100 million annually. However, the exact amount of Iranian aid remains a subject of debate. With their substantial financial resources, Hamas has gained full control over all government ministries, municipal councils, and civilian agencies in Gaza. They have also established a monopoly of power over security and intelligence services. This financial dominance has enabled Hamas to pay salaries to at least 35,000 employees, including a significant number of armed personnel. The financial growth of Hamas has not only empowered the organization but also raised concerns about the sources of their funding. While Hamas officials claim that a significant portion of their income comes from fees, taxes, gifts, and foreign aid, the exact breakdown remains unclear. Iranian subsidies, estimated to be around $100 million annually, have been directed primarily towards the Hamas political bureau in Damascus for weapons purchases and shipments. The financial power of Hamas has also had implications for the economy of Gaza. Through their control over various resources, Hamas has been able to indirectly benefit from the international reconstruction funds flowing into Gaza. They exploit their control over government-owned heavy machinery by leasing it to private contractors for a daily fee. This allows them to profit from the funds intended for the reconstruction and development of the region. Furthermore, Hamas's financial strength has allowed them to impose taxes and fees on goods and services, creating an additional burden on the already struggling economy of Gaza. The high customs duties and daily fees imposed on local tunnel contractors have contributed to the reduction in the tunnel trade, impacting the flow of goods and cash into Gaza. The implications of Hamas's financial power extend beyond the borders of Gaza. The group's ability to fund its activities and maintain control over security and intelligence services poses a significant challenge to regional stability. It also raises concerns about the potential for further escalation of violence and terrorism, considering the complex and challenging nature of disrupting their financial network. Various strategies and actions have been taken to address the issue, but the scope and intricacy of Hamas's funding sources make it a difficult task. The United States, in response to Hamas's terrorist attacks on Israel, has ramped up its efforts to sever the group's financial lifelines. The Treasury Department has imposed sanctions on 10 institutions from different countries that have been identified as funding sources for Hamas. These institutions are targeted to disrupt the flow of funds to the organization. One of the challenges in cutting off funding to Hamas lies in distinguishing between legitimate aid and funding for terrorism. Charitable organizations that provide aid to civilians and civil projects in Gaza can inadvertently funnel money to Hamas. Making this distinction is often a complex task, requiring careful analysis and investigation. Iran has been identified as a major funding source for Hamas. Supporters of Israel have urged the United States to more forcefully monitor and intercept oil exports from Iran, which could potentially impact the financial support provided to Hamas. The banking system plays a crucial role in blocking money from reaching Hamas, but there is room for improvement. Financial institutions worldwide receive alerts from the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, when an individual or institution is designated as a terror funder. However, diplomatic considerations and other factors may prevent immediate action against certain organizations. The overthrow of former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak and the subsequent rise of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt played a pivotal role in Hamas's financial ascent. With the growing popularity of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas leaders found themselves in a favorable position to expand their wealth. They capitalized on their connections and business partnerships with Muslim Brotherhood officials to invest in various Egyptian assets. Luxury villas, worth at least $1 million each, were purchased by individuals associated with Hamas. These extravagant properties became symbols of their ill-gotten wealth, while the people of Gaza continued to suffer in poverty. But perhaps one of the most shocking revelations was the sale of subsidized fuel. The Egyptian government provided Gaza with fuel at a significantly reduced price. However, instead of distributing it to the people in need, Hamas members sold the fuel at exorbitant prices, reaping enormous profits. Senior Hamas members, capitalizing on their connections and business partnerships with Muslim Brotherhood officials, strategically invested in Egyptian assets. These investments allowed them to accumulate even more wealth, while the people they claimed to fight for continued to suffer. Through these partnerships, Hamas leaders gained access to lucrative business opportunities in Egypt. They seized the chance to invest in real estate projects in Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Dubai, further expanding their financial empire beyond the borders of Gaza. Luxury properties worth millions of dollars were acquired by Hamas leaders in these countries. These opulent investments served as a stark reminder of the stark contrast between the lavish lifestyles of Hamas leaders and the dire living conditions faced by the people of Gaza. But what is perhaps most shocking is the blurring of lines between Hamas funds and personal wealth. wealth. Khaled Mashal, the political leader of Hamas, had control over a massive $2.6 billion deposited in Qatari and Egyptian banks. Mashal did not always separate Hamas money and his own, using the organization's resources for personal gain. As some Hamas leaders reveled in their ill-gotten riches, the Gaza Strip continued to rank third in the Arab region in terms of poverty, with a staggering poverty rate of 38%. The people they claimed to represent were left to bear the burden of their greed and corruption. The shocking truth behind Hamas's wealth accumulation reveals a callous disregard for the suffering of their own people. While the majority of the population struggled to survive, some Hamas leaders shamelessly exploited their positions of power to amass unimaginable wealth. Families in Gaza faced dire living conditions, struggling to afford basic necessities such as food, clean water, and healthcare. The wealth disparity between some Hamas elite and the rest of the population is a painful reminder of the injustice and inequality that plagues the region. The funds that could have been used to improve infrastructure, create job opportunities, and provide essential services were instead funneled into the pockets of Hamas leaders. The result is crumbling infrastructure, high unemployment rates, and a lack of access to basic services for the people of Gaza. As the people of Gaza protested against their dire circumstances, Hamas leaders turned a blind eye to their suffering. The wealth accumulated by Hamas leaders stands as a stark symbol of their callous disregard for the well-being of their own people. The impact on the children of Gaza is particularly devastating. They grow up in a world of poverty and despair, with limited opportunities for education and a future filled with uncertainty. While Hamas leaders enjoy a life of luxury, the children of Gaza are robbed of their childhood and a chance for a better future. However, amidst the darkness, there is hope. The resilience and determination of the people of Gaza shine through as they strive for a better tomorrow, despite the obstacles they face. Activists and organizations within Gaza and around the world continue to shed light on the corruption and greed of some of the Hamas leaders. They work tirelessly to advocate for justice, equality, and a brighter future for the people of Gaza. It is through unity and collective action that the people of Gaza can reclaim their rights and demand accountability from those in power. However, it is important to remember that while some notable leaders have been found wanting in corrupt dealings, not all of them are corrupt. Hamas has also contributed to the development of Gaza in its own right. Due to the Israeli blockades, the tunnels have been an important mode of transporting products for development into the Gaza Strip. Additionally, Hamas has played a crucial role in the development of water and sanitation infrastructure in Gaza. Recognizing the importance of access to clean water and proper sanitation facilities for public health, Hamas has invested in the construction of desalination plants, wastewater treatment facilities, and the rehabilitation of water networks. These efforts have significantly improved the availability and quality of water for the people of Gaza. However, a good number of Gazans are still without access to clean portable water. It is important to note that Hamas's infrastructure development efforts have not been without challenges. The Israeli blockade, which restricts the import of construction materials, has posed significant obstacles. However, Hamas has shown resilience and resourcefulness in finding alternative solutions, such as utilizing locally available materials and engaging in innovative construction techniques. Despite the limitations, Hamas's contributions to infrastructure development in Gaza have been instrumental in improving the quality of life for the people. These initiatives have not only provided essential services, but have also created employment opportunities, stimulated economic growth, and fostered a sense of hope and resilience among the population. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you liked it, we have several videos just like it. Feel free to click on the cards on your screen for more.